All right.
No, I love the pattern.
Oh.
I mean, it is a nice pattern.
It is. It's really nice.
Anyway.
I almost thought I fucked up the...
Welcome to A Journey to King's Cross, a Harry Potter book podcast where we occasionally talk about knitting and crocheting projects here.
To be fair, he did not tell us he hit the record button.
Yeah, he always 3, 2, 1, go.
He just hit it, and I thought we had a moment before the 3, 2, 1, go.
No, not this time. I figured I'd let people in a little bit on the behind-the-scenes shenanigans.
How rude.
He is pretty rude.
The book.
Yeah, we show up week after week, mostly.
Well, to be perfectly
day after day.
my wife kind of has no choice but to put up with my
Marion.
ass.
Yeah, I know. I got a ball and chain.
Willingly. But anyway.
I'm the ball and chain. Isn't that an interesting twist on the relationship? So this might be a shorter episode due to the fact that this is a very long chapter. So,
seems to be how it goes.
Try to hit, like, the big points off the bat. Whoa, this chapter is packed with childlike stupidity and sense.
Picture!
This is Chapter 5, The Whomping Willow. Sorry it's a little late into the intro. Somebody likes to hear his own voice.
And nobody gave us the 3, 2, 1.
No comment.
So,
no comment.
In this chapter, the chapter art, we get a lovely picture of the flying car being beaten mercilessly by the Whomping Willow, which not very willowy, more just whompy.
Yeah.
It looks kind of like a freaking octopus, to be perfectly honest.
It does. It's not much foliage on it.
Yeah, it's not a willow.
I've seen enough hentai.
It looks more like a gnarled oak.
Gnarled oak.
It does, kind of.
To be fair, it was no, it's not very old even by tree standards as far as we're aware. Unless it was old before it got moved in.
I was going to say, we don't know how old it was before it got planted. Because we know why it was planted. But it was already a tree at that point. How is a sapling going to prevent people? It would just be mildly annoying.
Mildly annoying. So, we start off with the actual trip out and everything. We have everybody and their mother accidentally forgetting something. We have everybody running around. As a parent, man, I could relate to trying to get everybody out the fucking door in a reasonable time and everything, but I couldn't imagine dealing with the Weasley family at its prime. Could you imagine taking, like, you know, what this house would have been looking like and stuff, just dealing with so many of the boys over the years and everything? They're short, too, technically.
I wonder how they used to get to King's Cross.
Well, you know, that is an interesting question, because it seems as though that's like the first time Molly's been in the vehicle itself.
Right.
Because she comments about how deceptively roomy it was.
So
they just use flu powder every other time?
That might have happened. So it makes me
Which
wonder
might be why they didn't use it this time, because they were running low, so they wanted to conserve.
Wait.
But she said they were going to get more at the Diagon Alley.
Yeah, but still, if they could conserve the resources and use the car. But Mitch has a thought that he's...
How did they actually run into Harry in book 1 and everything if they didn't take some sort of public transportation?
Yeah, wait. Maybe there's a port key that they can set up and it leads you into a specific room?
Maybe the night bus. Maybe they took the night bus.
Oh, yeah.
That is true, yeah.
And maybe that's why they ended up getting the car, so that they didn't have to keep taking the night bus, because that's expensive.
Yeah.
One thing that
it feels like everything in the
a little surprised that they went back for is the first thing they had to go back for was, I believe it was Fred forgot his fireworks.
Yeah, his fizz.
Yep.
Was it his fizz bag? Those
aren't even allowed at Hogwarts, so I don't know why their parents willingly went back for the fireworks.
On the off chance that Fred accidentally had somebody to set them off in case this is like rather them have them at school than here at the house. It could be some teacher's headache instead of mine.
Yeah, and then of course Ginny forgot her diary.
What an interesting story that would have been.
Imagine if she had just not taken it and left it at home.
Nope. George forgot his filibuster fireworks. And then
George,
Fred forgot his broomstick.
My bad. One of the twins forgot fireworks, I knew that.
They almost got the highway when then Ginny was like, ah, my diary! Which, someone mentioned, one of you guys mentioned that a lot of this could have just been mailed to Hogwarts
It could have.
and gotten there probably the next day.
Well, Arrow's not
Arrow's
exactly
not
the most
exactly-
reliable.
Yeah.
But I could eat, like... To be honest, if I was, like, it'd be like, hey, Harry, could you, I'd be like, we can borrow Hedwig.
Use Hedwig.
Yeah, there's a couple of things we accidentally forgot.
But, I just had
But
this
here's
reading-
blue powder. Sorry, I think book 4, they actually had it so Molly gave a piece of toast through the Flue powder network. So theoretically speaking,
Oh, yeah.
you could send items via Flue if needed.
Yep, because...
But she didn't send a piece through as much as she fed a piece of toast to the person whose head was in the grate.
I mean,
So-
But we don't know how it
semantics. He still got something. He was in a different location, technically, and he got food from another one.
Yes, but the item...
DoorDash
yeah,
eats
true.
your heart out.
Anyways,
DoorDash
I
sounds pretty
was-
good right now.
starting to think
Hashtag not sponsored.
of...
Hashtag
I
could be
swear to God,
sponsored.
if you guys interrupt me one more time, I'm going to smack you both. I can see it in your eyes. He wants to.
Wait, why would I get smacked if he interrupts?
I said, both of you. If either of you. You were interrupting me too. Can I please get my thought out?
Go.
No.
I had the thought of how many kids would be thoughtful and just be like, hey, you can use my owl. But then I had to think about my daughter. She's that kind of person.
Mm-hmm. Sure would.
Lots of kids are like that. Harry was the exception to the rule of kids don't like to share. Harry's like, I have things to share. Of course I'll share.
Motherfucker bought the entire freaking cart, basically, in year 1.
Yep.
And he's like, I have money. I have friends. I can spoil people.
Yep.
So we finally show up to and here's the thing that always bugs me as a parent. We have a situation where, theoretically speaking, both parents could have lost track of the kids very easily in a public place, and Harry's a known celebrity. I'm going to be perfectly honest. If I was in Molly and Arthur's shoes, Molly goes in first, I go in last. If anything happens or something like an unforeseen circumstance pops up or something along those lines, at least one parent will be there in case somebody needs to lose a memory or two.
Right.
Because my thought process is, what happened? Like, if somebody kidnaps somebody or somebody grabs somebody like you'd expect from any other occasion and stuff, but what if somebody the kids couldn't get through immediately because some muggle was hanging out on that spot or moved into that area?
Right. Or in modern times we'd just be like, but child snatchers.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, in the 90s, I got a feeling that was less of a concern, but I still would be...
I think it happened
with
a
the
lot.
statute of
People
secrecy.
didn't pay attention.
It wasn't as widely talked about.
But yeah, no, multiple reasons of why didn't a parent go in last? And, but also,
or at the very least,
why did
Percy
the
or
oldest children go on first and then the youngest go last? It makes absolutely no sense.
No, Ginny is the youngest, and she went first.
But they still sent Percy through first.
Yeah. But Ginny did go with her mom, but they send in the two boys first.
I could see where they send in one older child first. See, your brother does this, it's fine, whatever. But Ginny's been watching this since she was a toddler. She
knows it better than Harry.
She probably knows exactly what to do. So, send her in first with Arthur or something.
But also, why are you just not having a parent go last, period?
Now, with all that said and everything, this story, without our author intervention, that requires that crazy car being there because of future scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
But all I could think to myself is how many ways this entire book could have been casually subverted with a little bit more responsibility on the adult side and a little bit more sense from the kids.
Right. Also,
between Ginny and Harry, both of them have gone out of their way over the course of this book, basically, to be as incapable as possible when it comes to solving the problem the easy way. Every single one of them was like, I need to be this as difficult as humanly possible. Because, fun story, family
Because
entertainment.
reasons.
See, what I don't understand, like, man, obviously, I'm not a boy, so maybe Midge can give some more insight on this. But like,
I am?
when I was 12,
Since when?
when I was 12, if I had suddenly been unable to do the thing I was supposed to do, such as get through a wall to get to the train, I would have cried. I would have broke down and cried and not done anything till a parent came back out to help me. But these boys are like, nah, let's steal a car. Cool.
To be fair, that wasn't their first impulse. Harry
You're
had to
right.
open his
Harry
mouth
had
and
a
say,
good thought.
we had to
Let's
go and wait by the car.
car.
And Ron's like, we can drive the car.
Also, irresponsible Arthur Weasley leaving the keys in the car.
Why would
Arthur doesn't understand muggles. Alright? I'm gonna give him a pass on that one.
Partial pass.
I disagree.
I feel like he should understand the concept of thieves.
Especially after his 3... I understand, I would give him a pass, but you think
The
that Molly
night
would have
before.
chewed him out about leaving the keys around after her 3 boys stole the car?
That's a good point. That's a good point. All I was going to say was he doesn't know what the function of a rubber duck is.
Okay, yes, that
How
is
about
true.
a locking
However-
mechanism?
However, he also literally works for, Muggle affairs and should know better than to leave any kind of Muggle object or an enchanted Muggle object where a Muggle could potentially get into it. He's bad at his job.
He really is. To be fair, he probably should have paid a lot more attention in Muggle studies.
I get the distinct impression that the entire wizarding world doesn't take muggles very seriously, regardless of what they say otherwise.
Fair. He just thinks they're kind of quirky.
To be fair, the muggles probably think he's kind of quirky.
Well, he is kind of quirky.
Exactly. Guess it's all a matter of perspective. We have the actual car ride out and everything, which, while I love a lot of the descriptive words of, like, the whole clouds and stuff and
Nothing's
everything...
gonna top the movie scene where they're just like, we've got to be, like, right on top of the train.
Where is it?
We found the train.
They had to action that scene up so much because, honestly, without that little explosion of action and stuff, it would have been a very boring trip to Hogwarts, all things considered. I do find it funny is that they're dumb enough to do this, but they're smart enough to weasel themselves out of, like, any serious danger.
Technically, term hasn't started yet.
I'm like, where the fuck were those extra brains? Like, I'm convinced McGonagall probably has to deal with more detentions than any other house. Because we
obviously wouldn't give out any detentions to his students unless he absolutely had to.
All I could think to myself is that Professor McGonagall is probably looking at both of these two, realized that, like, the second, she's like, why didn't you send an owl? And they're both like, oh... that would have been a really smart idea, actually, in hindsight. She's probably just sort of like, yeah, I can't be mad at them. They're Gryffindors. They're both idiots.
This tracks.
This tracks. Like, it would explain why neither, like, Dumbledore nor, like McGonagall really gave them too much shit. It was more of like, I can't believe they're fucking this stupid.
Look,
I can't believe they're this
I
stupid.
think part of it is also, like, Harry was raised by Muggles. Harry's not used to our world yet. It's okay.
Harry being raised by Muggles should not give him a pass because his brain doesn't automatically jump to, I can magic my way to school.
Look, man.
To be fair, it didn't. However...
He's lived a majority of his life as a fucking muggle up until the last previous year. I think the man
His
should
only
have
thought
at
was,
least
I have to get to school. I can't not be at school.
a fair assessment under most circumstances.
I still really think Harry's thought process was, let's wait at the car. Ron said Molly and Arthur can apparate back. They gotta come back for the car. We'll be right here. And then they can figure out how we're gonna get to school.
Could you imagine just how panicked Molly and Arthur were at that moment when they could not find Harry and Ron?
Yeah.
that's
We
the
didn't
thing,
just
is,
lose
like,
our own kid. We lost somebody else's
it's like,
kid
did they just
under
not
our
notice that they never
care.
made it through the gate? I would have immediately walked backwards out through the gate. But I think it just has to do with Molly just has too many children to pay attention half the time.
Again. Oh, look, I haven't... Wait, you don't have red hair.
I would...
You're right, she would have remembered Harry. If she didn't remember Ron, she would have remembered Harry.
No, the thought with Arthur.
Oh, yeah.
When they show up for breakfast and he goes, ah, yes, that's all my... Wait, you don't have red hair.
There's, like, a lot of, like, little moments and everything where it's just sort of like, I know this kind of has to happen for the sake of the story, but on the other hand, as a parent, oh, man,
Poor
I would be...
parenting.
Oh, Jesus, Molly was probably having kittens when she found out that, like, the vehicle was missing or something. Be like, wait, did you help Ron and Harry get onto the train? No, I thought you did.
Well,
Wait, what? Did we
honestly, that might not even been their first thought. Because it's an enchanted Muggle vehicle. First thought would have been, oh my god, we're gonna go to jail. You're gonna go to jail if a Muggle makes your car fly. You're gonna go to jail. Probably not if they weren't thinking about Harry yet.
They were thinking about the car.
They were thinking about Arthur not going to jail.
But that's where Oblivious comes in.
Obliviate, but yeah.
Obliviate.
Yeah, but you can still go to jail.
Also, I don't
You
think...
can't go to jail if the officer doesn't remember why he's arresting you.
I'd be more worried
This
about
is the
Azkaban.
90s. This is the 90s. There's no body cam footage.
They're wizards. I don't think that's how that works for them. Oh, wow, these officers we sent to arrest Arthur Weasley suddenly have no memories?
I thought you were talking about
She was
human,
the-
Muggle wizards.
No, they're gonna go to Arthur's
He's
gonna
gonna
go
go
to
to
wizard
Azkaban.
jail because he enchanted a car and
I
Muggles
wasn't.
got it.
I wasn't keeping up.
It's
I thought,
against the law. It's
I thought the
against his
Muggles
law.
were going to arrest him for
Because
some reason.
it was considered Muggle baiting because he left the keys in the ignition.
Look, Lucius Malfoy would absolutely say it's Muggle baiting if he wanted to make sure that he did it on purpose. Of course, Lucius would say something like that. He would he would make sure that every single law that Arthur Weasley put into place was brought down with full fury on
Arthur.
On Arthur.
I
Because
could
he would
see
be
him.
like, I don't agree with any of these laws. But in absolute fairness, we must make sure that the full fury of the law comes upon him.
Wow.
Every single one of these, guilty.
You know, the funny thing is, I don't think at this point in time that Rowling entirely had Severus Snape's redemption arc in place. Because he is gung-ho about getting them suspended. Like, full-on just kicked out.
Not even suspended. He wants them expelled.
And Alan Rickman sold that scene in the movie. If
Look,
it was
man,
up to
I'm
me, the
telling
both
you.
of you would be on the train home.
She did not write him to be an actual good guy until Alan Rickman started playing Severus Snape.
Because, I'm gonna be honest, if he was a freaking Death Eater, getting Harry expelled would be best thing he could possibly do. And he's so gung-ho about it at this point in time, it's like, you're not really looking out for Harry's best
Good insight.
interest at this
Thank you.
point. You realize that, right? Harry doesn't get his magical education. He's a sitting duck for Voldemort when the fucker shows back up.
And Snape was pretty peeved that Dumbledore was getting him out of his own office. Like, come on, let's go. I got a lemon custard I want to try.
And I quote, Snape looked as though like Christmas had been canceled. That's pretty freaking upset about something, to be perfectly fair. I could not imagine being in a situation where a child not being disciplined properly was going to give me that much of an angry moment.
Look, man.
I do like that, like that Hermione and fucking Percy are both like ready to rip into them. Or the entire house is like, this is the coolest idea ever. Why didn't we think of this?
Right. I love how their thought is, let's go to bed to avoid Percy. I'm like, Percy's a boy. He's just probably gonna follow you to your door.
Hermione goes up there all the damn time.
Yeah. So like, why wouldn't Percy?
Well, because girls are more trustworthy.
I still find that BS. Excuse BS.
Look, man, it just makes it easier for them to get it. I mean, what? They're definitely children who shouldn't be having sex underage.
Yeah. We do not. We condone underage sexual exploits. That does not mean we don't anticipate them potentially happening. All right?
I'm pretty sure you meant to say you do not condone.
I don't... When it comes to the word condone, I'm never 100% certain how that's supposed to work. We condone underage, fornication of any kind.
We don't.
However, that does not mean... Did I use it wrong again?
Yes. No,
Fuck.
we don't condone it. We don't agree with it.
But condoning sounds like something you don't agree with already. It feels like a double negative, I swear.
Welcome to English.
I fucking hate this language.
Well, there's nothing you can do about that. Sorry.
Sadly, no. I'm at the age where I would probably suck at learning a new one at this point.
Makes me think of the movie My Fair Lady. Why can't the English learn to speak?
That's a good question, folks. That's a good question.
But we're getting a little off topic here.
Now, to be fair, we, despite the fact that this is a relatively long chapter, we've pretty much hit all the major
This
points.
happens every time. Short chapter, lots to talk about. Long chapter, not much. Every time.
I will say, I'm surprised. It must be a boy thing. I don't think I could have eaten in Snape's office.
Oh, with all the,
Yes.
pickled ingredients, basically.
Yes.
Just
slimy things and things. I'm pretty sure they've said at some point that some of the stuff still moves. But, either way, I don't think I could eat sitting in that office.
As a tomboy, and a hypoglycemic, and someone working in vet med.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have no problems eating in Snape's office.
But you were 12. As a 12-year-old, nope. Would not have been able to do it.
No, I think it would have been fine. I was trying to catch frogs when I was 12.
I mean, okay, I guess I was catching frogs too. But there's a difference. But I didn't
There's a
catch
difference
frog
between
and then
catching a
immediately
live
eat a
animal and
sandwich.
being surrounded by a bunch of corpse pieces.
You're not wrong. I was just trying to come up with the first tomboy thing I did as a kid.
To be
And
fair, though, they were
ADHD
probably
brain
just
doesn't
relieved that they
remember.
weren't expelled. But
They're
I do
probably
agree.
also starving.
Yeah.
They were already making comments about the fact they were at least thirsty while in the car and everything.
It's true.
And an all-day trip, basically, from one end of Britain to the other end of Britain, with no stops, no bathroom breaks.
As the crow flies.
Yeah.
Literally.
The whole, I do find it kind of realistic. They were like, oh, this is so cool for, the first 5 minutes, and then afterwards they're like, this is miserable.
I would have been like, I'm so bored. I'm bored.
Can we just land on the train and just go that way?
It would be so easy to just fall asleep in that situation
Hell
because
yeah.
there was no perspective change. The reason a lot of places have curves in the road, even though it would be just as easy as a straight line, is to keep people driving alert, because if we just had everybody driving in a straight line, basically like a grid, people would just nod off and shit. I think they had done a test or something along those lines before they started doing some serious alterations to roads and stuff. But minor tidbit of fun fact knowledge.
Not to mention, the sunlight warming up the car like that. I don't know about you guys, but
Sun makes me sleepy.
Sun makes you sleepy.
If I'm sitting in the sun, in the warm sun, I'm a cat. I am solar powered. That makes me sleepy.
Depends on how active I am, but yeah, same facts. You put me in a boring enough situation and increase the heat, I will doze off.
Didn't we say in book 1 that the train ride was 8 hours or something, because they were having some sort of food on the train or whatever?
Or that they would need to, yeah.
Yeah, that...
6 hours, I think, would be more... Well, no, because it was dark. That's why we had to figure it out. It was dark.
But, I'm just thinking of... In America, we have laws regulating how long our truck drivers can drive safely. And I'm only familiar with these because my dad was a truck driver when I was little. So now that I'm actually thinking about this, I can't imagine...
12 hours was how long you could drive.
8.
8?
It's 8 now. 8 on, 8 off, or 10 on, 8 off. But yeah, there's a limit now, and they log it, and it's if you don't go over it, you're getting in trouble. But I can only imagine for a 12-year-old that doesn't have the same
attention
span as an adult. They're gonna be so tired.
Good thing that car probably mostly flew itself.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry as much about
running into things.
They're
running off
probably
the road.
damn lucky that car is not just enchanted to fly, but like entirely magically enchanted. Because when...
like an airplane.
Well, no, because like when the book said the smoke started steaming out from under the hood, I was like, they blew their head gaskets. That engine's dead. There's no coming back from that.
And they're like, oh wait, it probably barely needs that.
It's magic. It doesn't need it now.
I love the sass that the car gives them. Like,
Mhm.
Nope, done now. Goodbye. Have a nice day.
That might have actually saved Arthur's job, to be honest. The fact they were never able to recover that damn thing.
Probably.
Because then they couldn't prove who enchanted the vehicle.
Oh, no doubt. It's one of those little things
Because
where
Arthur
it's
could
like...
have been like, well, I owned it, but I didn't enchant it.
But could they prove that Arthur enchanted it anyways?
Plausible deniability is an amazing thought
Theoretically,
process.
they might have been able to figure out who enchanted it in the first place. I don't know exactly.
It's one of those things where it's like...
In other magical systems, usually all magic leaves a trace of the original caster, and you would be able to track who cast it. However...
I don't think we have that system here yet.
As we've determined, the Harry Potter magic system makes no sense.
It's based off of verbal? No, wait. We don't need words. Oh, wand movement. We don't need wands. Well, what the fuck do we need? We need to be a wizard.
We need magic.
Except for in the situations where you do need a wand, or to speak it out loud. But, like, other than that, you don't need a wand or...
I can be really emotionally angry at somebody and I can blow them up. Whoops.
Right, like our children can do bigger magic than our adults can. Yep, that makes sense.
Bye-bye, Aunt Marge.
Actually, that does kind of make sense. The untapped...
Temper tantrums.
Temper tantrums, the untapped potential of a child that hasn't been guided yet or molded yet is usually stronger than somebody who has very rigid control. It's like you're almost subconsciously always controlling.
Though there's like one like wild thought process though is how magic works and everything. Like, is it fueled by emotions? Is it fueled by some unknown like magic power source? Like, you got a set amount of MP and you could theoretically expand it, but you're kind of born with a peak. Is that kind of like your height? Or is it entirely based off of your emotional state, where the more you're angry or the more you want something, the more powerful and effective your magic is? Like, is that what makes a great wizard? Like Dumbledore. Dumbledore wanted to be a great wizard. That was the only thing. Voldemort is a powerful wizard because that's what he wanted. And Harry's kind of mediocre because all he wanted was to have a family and a life and to just get away from all these shenanigans.
This is what I've complained about multiple times. There's no explanation for...
To be fair, it's a soft magic system, and we're just going to have to deal with the setup on how that works. Because I'm not going to complain how in the world Gandalf the Grey's magic works in the Lord of the Rings series.
He's angel. I don't know.
Well, technically you're right, but the thought process being is that there's no explanation beyond magic. And I can't really... I don't feel comfortable getting on Harry Potter's case for basically doing the exact same thing.
Okay, but, like, at least they have an explanation for why they don't magic out of every situation.
Lack of knowledge.
No, I mean in Lord of the Rings.
Well, to be fair, there's one
draw attention, and he is not supposed to meddle in the affairs of man explicitly through magic. Most of the time when Gandalf is helping, he's subtly nudging other people. Like, I'm going to go find this person to come save the day, but I'm not going to actually do it myself. But he's allowed to fight orcs because he's like, well, they're all fighting, and I can fight too. I'm not using my magic to fight.
I get what you're saying. However, that is not even remotely close to the point we were talking about in terms of
Harry
magic.
Potter. Yes. Harry Potter magic is, well... You know, we've never seen somebody just sit down and be like, okay, I'm going to cast the same spell over and over and over and over and over again, and let's see how it... In fact, when Harry does that, the spell gets more effective. because he's been practicing it.
That makes me wonder if magic itself is like a muscle, and the more you practice a spell, the easier it is for that magic to
I would
work a
have
specific
to assume
way.
that's how it works, because like Expelliarmus, he gets real good at. Expecto Patronum, it's so easy for him later.
Yeah, but that doesn't explain how he's capable of apparently teaching an entire class of people in order to basically do the exact same thing.
Inspiration, spite.
Fair enough. So,
And not everybody was able to perform a full Patronus. A lot of them still had just the silvery mist.
the fact that like multiple people were capable of doing it under his tutelage kind of proves that they didn't know what to do with Harry after he finally graduated school. It's one of those things where it's like sometimes I feel like the authors don't necessarily realize what the most fitting end for their characters are, even if they're the ones that created them.
Wizard cop, obviously.
It's not like he hated almost every second of the day of all the danger he was getting into on
Right.
a regular basis.
Like, I just want a normal year. Nope. The most normal year you get is year 3.
With the fucking Dementors hanging around.
And as far as Harry knew for most of the year, a murderer out to get him.
Yep.
I'm actually been going back. I've been going through book 3 and stuff with another podcast.
Without
and everything.
us?
It's another podcast similar to what we're doing and
Are
everything.
you listening or are you participating?
I'm listening, just listening. But they actually did mention the fact that over the course of the series, Harry is so unconcerned with Sirius Black, he might as well not even be an issue until he finds out that he was his godfather and potentially the person responsible for getting stuck with the Dursleys. And in which case, it's, it's fucking on. But before that, he's like, how is this any different from the last 2 years? I got attacked by the most dangerous wizard. What is his subordinate supposed to do?
Right.
Like in the grand scheme of things, I love how seriously everybody takes the escape of Sirius Black, and Harry's just sort of like, I took on Voldemort 3 times. What's he gonna do?
Harry's like, LOL YOLO.
Like, I'm gonna be like from an adult's perspective, you never want a situation where your kid is so comfortable with danger that they're just sort of like, eh. But as from Harry Potter's perspective and everything, I've dealt with the most dangerous thing this world is capable of throwing at me 3 times already. What is some random underling of this guy going to do?
But then it gets personal.
Then it gets personal, and then Harry wants the bastard dead.
Which is fair.
I'm sure Snape would have been so happy if Harry was directly responsible for Sirius Black's death.
Snape would have been like, I hate you. But I like
sweet revenge.
But I hate you.
I think he'd find it even more hilarious.
He'd find it poetic justice. He's like, oh yes,
He
Harry
tried to get me
killed my arch enemy's son killed my arch enemy's best friend. Win-win for me. Now my arch enemy's son goes to prison forever for murder.
Awesome.
Win-win-win.
Clean sweep.
Honestly, I'm almost surprised that Snape didn't wait for Sirius to murder Harry. Just so he'd be like, I was too late to stop him. I got him.
That might have been around the time where she started to alter Snape a little bit.
Wait.
Maybe?
I know we shouldn't be talking about this because this is the next book, but like, what if that's that's why he didn't wait for Sirius to explain? He's like, oh shit, he's gonna reveal that he wasn't a Death Eater. I should know. I was Voldemort's second-hand man, pretty much. So I better stop that from happening so I can still arrest him and throw him back in jail forever because I hate him so much.
To be fair,
Snape's a dick.
I think there was as much as I do not like Snape, I do believe that before Voldemort's original fall, it was put on record that certain Death Eaters only knew certain other members. Like they didn't know everybody that was part of the group, because during book 3, Malfoy specifically says, if it was me, I'd want revenge. He is under the impression that Sirius Black was on their side.
But
so
Snape
it makes
was like right-hand man to Voldemort, or what it's been implied, pretty much.
Yeah, but why did I get what you're saying. Counterpoint: Karkaroff. He was willing to rat out anyone and everyone that he knew. in order to get out of Azkaban. So why were there so many other ex-Death Eaters still running around? If some of them were so
part of it.
there had to have been some information that just wasn't accessible to everyone.
That would also explain why they would show up wearing masks. So one, not only were they not being
Recognized.
revealed to the public, but then also if someone in their group was caught, he couldn't name everybody because he wouldn't know everybody.
Hard to say. Because, like, literally in book 4, Voldemort goes around, name. Oh, we're missing these names.
I feel like after the fact that some people denied him during his first downfall and everything, he's just sort of like, nah. Every single one of you guys needs to own up to who you are as individuals, or else I'm gonna kill you. You know what I mean? There's no backing. I think he probably saw the weakness of the fact that some people could get out of it.
If you all know who everyone is, you'll know that, you know,
there's
you
no
all
way
have the
out.
opportunity to rat somebody out, so you better not.
To be perfectly honest, though, you think about it, at the end of the Second War, every single one of them goes to jail, according to the books. Yeah. Everybody was locked up, with the exception of the Malfoys. So that means that there was a difference.
House arrest, except for Draco.
They got lucky, is what they did.
I think
They
Draco
turned
was
tail at the opportune moment, basically, and left. And that worked out in their favor. But that being said, that is a major difference between both downfalls, because as far as the wizarding world was concerned, after the first downfall, he was done. So it's the only reasonable explanation I can think of to explain so many minor differences and why things worked out the way they did.
We're getting way ahead of ourselves, though.
Yeah. Back to book 2.
I've got nothing to add.
I think I've talked to everything about it I wanted to.
You'd think that... I love how the only reason I think that Snape was like, oh, well, they damaged this rare and valuable tree.
It is a rare tree, though. I was looking it up to see, because I know we were talking about when the Whomping Willow was planted. It is a rare species of tree in the magical world.
That's fair.
So it does say that.
But the only reason he cares about it is because, you know, he can use it against Harry. Other than that, he'd probably be like, I don't care if that tree fucking burns.
Yeah.
Bane of his existence. And if the Whomping Willow wasn't there, then... Oh, wait, no. Because Lupin had the Wolfsbane potion at that point. I'm going to say, if the Whomping Willow wasn't there, then they could have gotten rid of the secret entrance, too.
Yeah.
So, I don't think he actually cares about the Whomping Willow. He just cares that Harry could get in trouble for damaging it.
Yeah, no.
But anyway. Oh, what, Mitch?
To be honest, I'm kind of surprised. It says a lot about Snape. He's capable of staying at that school, considering how many bad memories and bad experiences he has had at that school over his years. That he's capable of stomaching being a teacher there of all things.
He doesn't have a choice.
With Harry,
he's blackmailed to dead to rights by Dumbledore for the rest of his life.
Probably.
More or less. Damn dog.
Farted. It's really gross.
Yeah, I can smell it. Not a fun smell. Anyway, I think we're going to end things here and everything. It's getting a little bit... No, that's not too late, but it's getting late.
Well, we ran out of things to talk about. We started talking 1 and 2 books ahead.
And then, all the way at the end.
Pretty much. Anyway, spoiler warning, I guess. Feel free to plug your stuff.
You can find me at Luna's Creation Corner on most social media.
You can find me on YouTube at Brandywine Stitches, where I talk about all my crochet, cross-stitch creative projects, and Hockeytown Candle Co. on all the other socials.
Cole Sanders on Twitch. I'm currently streaming Persona 4 Golden currently. I'm doing fairly well on it, and I would not have a problem with anybody swinging by and hanging out or just chilling and listening in. Sometimes I'm talkative, sometimes I'm not. You never know what you're going to get. Anyway, make sure to keep make sure you subscribe. Feel free to comment. Tell us what we did wrong. Tell us what we did right. Tell us what made you laugh. Tell us what made you cry. Anyway, with everything more or less spoken out, keep your wands at the ready, and we will see you for the next chapter. Have a good night.